There might be one kid in this audience that I might change his life, because I know there was a time in my life I didn't believe. Did I think I was going to be recognized at Harvard? I got a chance to go to Harvard Business School and sit in there with multimillionaires and Harvard graduates and talk about their companies. 2,100 companies. This little rinky-dink company my father started in 1972, we're up there with them. You're talking about dreaming. You're talking about believing. If somebody would have told me that, I would have told them they were insane. But what that showed to me is there is something out there. There is more. I believe one of the things in my life is to show people that dreams do come true. Let me tell you a little bit more about my story. I took over our once small mom and pop business. At the time, we had about 6 employees, including us. And today we have 152. Back in May of 2013, we were recognized by Harvard Business School as the 10th fastest growing inner city company in America out of the 2,100 companies. Mr. Reyes, I want you to listen to something. I want you to hear something. And that song is going to set the tone of what I'm going to talk about today. Okay? That's the song of singer Adele. I didn't really like her music. Didn't know much about her until I started hearing this song and read something about her. I want you to listen to this. Okay, Mr. Reyes. Okay. Let me tell you about Adele. Okay? Adele, yes, she was talented. Yes, she was artistic. Yes, she was a great singer. But let me tell you what happened to her. On her sophomore album, 21, she hit a creative block. For 6 months, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't write. She couldn't sing. She couldn't do anything. But let me tell you what happened to her. Her man quit her. All of us have been quit before. Her man broke up with her. Not only did he break up with her, and in a matter of weeks, he found somebody else, got engaged, and got married. It broke her. That breakup broke her. You know what she told her management company? Get me in the studio. Get me a pen. Get me some headsets. And what happened to her? That's what happened to a lot of people when they become successful and they've been through pain. They go from the outside to the inside. She didn't just sing that song. Back in the day when I listened to a lot of music, we said she blew, okay? She sang that song, but it was more than just a song. It was the truth that she felt in her heart, okay? Out of that pain, out of that breakup, out of that hurt, became album of the year, song of the year, single of the year, and 6 Grammys. See, sometimes God brings us through pain so we can get to the other side of the mountain. I know personally, I had to lose everything for the real Larry Kemp to please stand up, okay? I had to lose it all. I wish it would have been another way, but that was the way he destined us. All of us that have went through tragedy, addiction, abuse, upheaval in our lives, God destined that for us so the real person could stand up, because we wouldn't have done it on our own. Okay? One thing I realized about people, and I read a lot, is that we only capture 10% of our true potential. I've been recognized by Harvard. I sit on all kind of business boards, and I advise all kind of people on business, and I mentor groups all over the country. But I'm amazed when I look at myself, am I only reaching 10% of my potential? But what I know what God does, he took me around the long side of the mountain so I can get more out of myself that I wouldn't have got on my own. I'm a sports fan. Let me tell you something. I play a little golf, not as much as I like. It takes too much time. But when I read about the golf ball, when they first invented the golf ball was smooth. So they hit the ball and hit the ball. And notice, every time they hit the golf ball, it put a dimple on it. The more dimples the golf ball had, the farther it would go. So I made the comparison from the dimples on a golf ball and the scars and the bruises we go through our life so God could take us farther that we wouldn't go on our own, okay? I chose to look at mistakes and fears differently than most people. I've been turned down for the big account. I've been turned down for the bank loan. I told a banker several weeks ago when he turned me down for a construction loan, even though I had four other banks looking at the construction loan, he didn't know about it. And so when he turned me down for the loan, I thanked him. And I told him that I would make sure that he got an invitation to our open house when we built our new building. And he said, I really like that attitude. And I said, this is not an attitude, this is a fact. Because the way I saw it was differently than the way he saw it. I saw it as if he was helping me. Saw it as he was making me be better. So sometimes in our pain and hurt, it's really to make us be better and see something that we didn't see before. I always tell students, I speak a lot. I think this year I might have spoken at the University of Texas Arlington about 10 times, my alma mater. But I tell students, believe in yourself. Sometimes that's all you got. Because even in the Bible, even your grandparents have told you, you have enough where you are right now. I heard Miss Jones' story about being out of work and starting this organization. My truck was pretty much like that. I was at my end of the rope. I did not, being an IBM executive, taking over a small mom and pop janitorial company was not my dream in life, I promise you, okay? But what I tell people is believe in yourself when nobody else does, okay? Act like you believe in yourself when you really don't. I tell people, quit being a victim. Stop being a victim. Okay, I can give all the excuses. I'm a black man in America. I'm not of privilege. I didn't have the best grade point average. I can give all these reasons why not. But I don't say why not. I say why. I use all those things as a springboard to make me better and take away excuses. At the 2013 commencement graduation at Morehouse College in Atlanta University, Barack Obama told the young men, I've taken away all your excuses. You can ascend to the highest job in the world, the highest job in our land, President of the United States. He took away all our excuses. So let's quit being a victim. Always know you can go as far as you want to go. You're your own engine, but at the same time, you're your own brake. So choose which one you want to do that particular day. One thing I tell students all the time when I speak to students is, what you say has to be congruent with what you do. If you say you're going to be a doctor, it takes thousands and thousands of actions to become a doctor. Hundreds of tests, hundreds and hundreds of hours studying. So if you're going to wipe out homelessness, it takes actions to wipe out homelessness. If you're going to get over abuse and addiction, it takes hours of work to get over abuse and addiction. So always know what you say has to be congruent with what you do. And it takes a lot of work. One thing I do know, to be happy and be successful in your life, you have to see it before you ever have it. If you wake up in the morning and you've been struggling with addiction, and you've been struggling with abuse, you thank God that you didn't have addiction or active abuse in that particular day. And pray to God that the day going forward, He gives you grace that day. But don't wake up as a victim and say, woe is me, look at my life, cry and moan. Get up and do something about it. One thing that I tell people, when I talked earlier about the only 10% potential, most of the greatest artists, writers, musicians, poets, leaders, politicians, you know where they are? They're in the graveyard. They're in the graveyard. And they robbed us of their talents, skills, and abilities. In this audience, nobody can dance like you can dance. Okay? Nobody can sing like you can sing. Nobody can write like you can write. Nobody can mother like you can mother. Do not take that wealth of talent, that wealth of beauty, and those wealth of skills. Do not rob humanity of it. Please give it to us. A defining moment in your life, there's something's going to happen. Okay? For you to step into who you are to be and should be, there's one thing something's going to happen. The moment you give up who you are today for who you are to become, that's going to be the defining moment in your life. You know, I tell students that in the neighborhood I come from in Fort Worth, Texas, we all had a lot of nicknames, okay? And as I grew to become who I am today, and let you know, I'm still growing, okay? My relatives gave me a nickname, okay? I had a lot of other ones, but they gave me a nickname at about 40 years old. They started calling me Larry Kennedy, okay? Because I changed. I no longer use slang. I quit the profanity, okay? I didn't wear my cap backwards. I started dressing a different way. I started acting like who I wanted to become way before I became this person, okay? Way before you have to see your ideal. You have to see it. You have to touch it. You have to feel it long before you ever get it. And never, ever compromise your values and principles. Because when you do, you're going to take a shortcut. I'll give you an example of a person who didn't take a shortcut. He is the most revered person on this planet. He is more well-known than Mickey Mouse and Santa Claus. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is a living testament to sticking to your principles and goals. And during the Vietnam War, a lot of you probably weren't born. Okay, I think I was in high school. Muhammad Ali was drafted into the army. And he refused to go because he was a Muslim and they were nonviolent. So what they did to Muhammad Ali, they stripped him of his title. He could not box anymore. But he stuck to his principles. Years passed, reinstated, he's given the opportunity to box. But as time went on from the 80s and 90s, people began to look at his life and said, this is a man of principle. This is a man of value. He was willing to give up everything. What he knew was true. Most recently, Muhammad Ali did an advertisement for Louis Vuitton bags. It was the most profitable, most highest rated print advertisement in business history. And this was a man that was ostracized by the United States government. Okay? This is a man that was hated. But today he's the most loved figure on the face of the planet. I went to college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but in the back of my mind, I always knew one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to make a difference. Okay? I wanted to make a difference. I just didn't want to live a normal life. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what road I'd go down. I thought I was going to be a pro basketball player, but the first day of basketball practice in college, I realized I wasn't going to do that. So and sometimes I tell people, you got to learn to pivot, okay? You know, pivot is turning. I went from thinking I'm going to the pros to hope I make the traveling squad and keep my scholarship. That was quite a drop. But there's nothing wrong with changing. I still went down the same road. I just went in the left lane, okay? You're always going to have the naysayers, okay? You're going to always be told you can't. You're going to always be questioned on why. I'm going to give you an example about people that look out into the future. Can you imagine, turn of the century, there's two brothers in North Carolina in a field with some wood and some metal and say, we're going to fly this, we're going to get this thing in the air and go over the water? Can you imagine it? Can you imagine what the people said to the Wright brothers? Can you imagine how stupid it is? Even look at it today. Imagine how crazy that sounds. I'm going to get this desk, I'm going to put some sides on it, I'm going to go over water. That's why you have to believe, okay? Thomas Edison, you hit a button, light comes on. 10,000 tries. 10,000 tries. Can you believe it? Who's going to try something 10,000 times? It's a belief. It's a passion, okay? I love doing this so much, I tell students sometimes I ought to pay them because I love doing this. Okay, I love it. My desire, my hope, my dream is that one person, I can help make them one step closer from taking their dream to a reality. I live a great life. I live a dream life. I work at a job I love. It's never like work, whether I work 100 hours in a week or 20 or 120 or I stay up 3 days in a row. It's not like work. It's my passion. I was at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was invited up there to speak to some young men who were struggling in school with 1.2s, 1.5, 1.7 grade averages. I was a little better than they were when I was in college. And the facilitator came to me before the event and said, Mr. Kemp, some of these guys are struggling in school. It might be hard to keep their attention. So I just want to make sure you bring your A game. I looked at the young man and said, A game? All I got is A game. Okay, I can't afford to have a B game because there might be one kid in this audience that I might change his life because I know there was a time in my life I didn't believe. Did I think I was going to be recognized at Harvard? I got a chance to go to Harvard Business School and sit in there with multimillionaires and Harvard graduates and talk about their companies. 2,100 companies in this little rinky-dink company my father started in 1972. We're up there with them. You're talking about dreaming. You're talking about believing. If somebody would have told me that, I would have told them they were insane. But what that showed to me is there is something out there. There is more. I'm going to talk about some rappers for a minute. Who likes rap music? Nobody does. Let me tell you something about the rapper. I bought my first rap CD at 55 years old. Okay? First rap CD, 55 years old. But let me tell you what I found about the rappers. I listened to a song and say, man, what is he saying? I listened to the same song about 40 times. Not trying to figure out the words. I was getting into what he was actually saying. What he was actually saying. You know what they were saying? They were talking about going from the corner block to the boardroom. Okay? They were talking about living in the projects. They're now living in estates. Okay? One guy says, I used to save pennies. Now I live next door to Penny Hardaway, a famous basketball player. They talk about buying Picassos and Warhols. I listen to what they say. Forget the music. I listen to what they say. Okay? Because when that little monster on your shoulder starts telling you to take a day off and you can't do it, you quit listening to him. Okay? Because we all have that little monster, don't we? Psychologists, sociologists say we're the sum total of the 5 people we hang around the most. Who do you hang around? Do you hang around good, positive, God-fearing people? Or do you hang around naysayers, unbelievers, people that gossip, lie, steal? I've hung around all of them. Okay. Today, I drive a 2-seater car. I really wanted a car with 1 seat in it so I could spend all my time by myself. Okay. Fear. Fear is the thing that just paralyzes us. Fear. You know, the sociologists have done a study and say that the average American has 4 chances in his life. He has an idea or a thought that can make him financially independent for life. He has 4 opportunities. You know what happens to those 4 opportunities? Because of fear, we don't take advantage of them. We're afraid. I was afraid to go into this business. I didn't have any other choice. But I was afraid. Absolutely. Did I know I could take care of my family? No. Did I know I could feed my family? No. Did I know I could pay the rent? No. I was afraid. But sometimes not having, I tell people, tell my daughter, senior in college, I tell the guys I mentor, the best thing in life is to have options. Options are better than money. Okay? But it's a heck of a thing when you don't have any options. I've been down to no options. 0 options. This is it. When I took over the company, monthly billing, $1,060 a month. I'm 40 years old, and I'm bringing $1,060 a month. I wasn't too attractive of a date, was I? Okay? I don't think many women would have wanted to date me at 40 years old making $1,000 a month. Okay? My first payroll, $250. Didn't even have the money to make the payroll. Those 2 figures stick out in my head because they were so unobtainable. Okay? Today, with all our recognition and whatever, I shudder to think if I wouldn't have been able to borrow the money to pay that $250. My crew, which was me and one other guy, he might have walked off. Okay? Mistakes. Most people run from mistakes. Most people do everything in their power to avoid mistakes. But I don't do that. I make a mistake, I embrace it. You guys are talented and skilled and beautiful. How do I know it and you don't? Huh? I know what God told me when I came in this room. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. Okay? For weeks. Because I felt that I was going to have the opportunity to talk to some people that had been on the rough side of the mountain with me. Okay? They got some scars and scratches like I have. I look pretty nice today. Okay, maybe. Okay? But there was a time I might not have looked so nice. Okay? I've been on the rough side of the mountain. Okay? I'm like that golf ball with dimples. And God has taken me farther than I ever thought he could. There's 3 things, there's 3 words that I'm going to leave you with. You can, you will, and you must. Thank you very much.